Now, some political parties have said the fires that broke out in Parliament can be viewed in isolation as the country anticipates the release of the State Capture Commission report. Now, the question is, can the two actually be linked? To discuss this in more detail and give us some clarity, I'm joined by Professor Situlego Matebisi, a political analyst. Prof, thank you so much for your time. Let's start off with, this fire has completely gutted the National Assembly. Do you think that this has got anything to do at all with the State Capture Commission report that is expected to be handed to the President tomorrow?
Hi, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers. It's going to be very difficult to even try to speak about a link between a report that will be released by not a parliamentarian, but by a judge, and to gut a building.
Can I talk now? And
perhaps that it's just to perhaps demonstrate someone's displeasure with the process. But the fact of the matter is, I think for me it's a futile exercise, but one should never underplay when our national assets are being damaged and threatened, because that in itself indicates the strength of the state. I don't.
Professor, we've lost your audio there. If you can please just unmute yourself. Professor, we are having a conversation with Professor Matebisi around the issue of the fire that gutted the National Assembly. Professor, you may just continue with the point that you were making there.
No, I'm trying to say one should be very careful, but fact of the matter is these kind of issues around threats to the security of our country, it's indicative of how strong in terms of our security our country is. And the moment when a parliament is being gutted, it is a huge concern for many ordinary South Africans. And whether we can link that, because sometimes when on the eve of such an important release of a report of a so-called State Capture Commission, one can perhaps be suspicious that perhaps someone wants to send a message. But that's why I say I don't know what kind of message will any individual want to send if they want to then bring down Parliament.
Now, Prof, how will this affect the work that needs to be done by the members of Parliament? We do understand that those two big speeches, the SONA and the budget, will not be affected. But what kind of work could this possibly affect?
No, well, I strongly believe that, like any other company, the Parliament will have contingency plans. There will always be a plan B and plan C when this happens. But remember, it takes months to plan for the budget speech delivery and even SONA. And I think this will definitely set back, because suddenly now alternative plans will have to be made, even if in any case we are going to use a venue which have not been done. But fact of the matter is this will have a huge impact, and one should be very mindful and actually respect what our leaders say. Sometimes they will not want to divulge all the details and all the challenges that they are going to face, perhaps to try and not give away too many security weaknesses. But I, for one, strongly believe that there will be huge consequences. But I strongly believe that we've got a capable government that will be able to deal with this particular situation. But fact of the matter, once again, this is set. And remember the amount of money that is being paid for the security, and yet this happens. Then you can ask yourself what is going to happen to ordinary South Africans who have to protect themselves.
Prof, I'm going to ask you a question that I asked a legal expert that we spoke to just a short while ago around the issue of Parliament being moved to Tshwane and the feasibility of that actually happening. We do know that there needs to be an act and there needs to be discussions that need to happen for Parliament to move. But do you think that this is feasible? It's something that should happen or can happen?
No, this is definitely something that should happen. Look, there will be decisions that will be taken by the government over there or any other government in future. But for one, does not see any problem with that move. But obviously, then proper planning needs to go with a decision like that, and the South African public needs to be taken into confidence. It should not be a haphazard issue that after 6 months we hear this and suddenly there's a complete silence around this issue. And when something happens again, then the government reacts by taking the South African public into confidence. I just think if there's transparency around this issue, this is definitely something that the South African public can support.
Political analyst Professor Situlego Matebisi, thank you so much for your time.